Winter storm chances are beginning to increase as we move into next week onward, and you know I love talking about winter weather possibilities. While Chicago viewers are still messaging me about yesterday's insane winds, and Tennessee residents report burning up in 68-degree weather, an interesting pattern change is developing. Let me show you the latest model information that suggests snow chances could extend further south than we've seen this winter. January 10th, we're tracking a major storm bringing heavy rain and thunderstorms from Georgia to North Carolina, with flooding concerns across the southeast. But here's where this story becomes really interesting for winter weather fans. Next week brings the first real chance for winter weather across the south. Before we dive into these model runs, drop your location in the comments and let me know what winter weather you're hoping to see in your area. Right now, Banner Elk and Boone, North Carolina are expecting 55 to 61 degrees with heavy rain today. But the pattern could look very different next week. Nashville resident. The European model is showing some interesting possibilities that winter weather enthusiasts across the South have been watching for. Starting Wednesday, January 14th, a trough begins digging across the central and eastern United States, bringing cooler air southward. By Thursday morning, January 15th, the models are showing snow chances around Memphis, though it's still early and details will change. The Cumberland Plateau region of Tennessee is showing snow potential, with even rain-snow mix possibilities extending into parts of Mississippi. For our viewers in Arkansas who have been desperately wanting snow and icy weather, this pattern might offer some opportunities. Thursday evening shows potential for mountain snow in North Carolina, Tennessee, and northern Georgia, areas currently experiencing record warmth. Now, I want to be clear, the models are showing some snow potential as far south as Alabama, but don't get too locked into specific details yet. As the original forecaster reminds us, don't get too lost in the sauce with the details. We're still figuring out the pattern. By Friday morning, January 16th, we're tracking snow potential across the North Carolina mountains with a developing coastal low-pressure system. The really exciting part is how this pattern continues to evolve. Cold air keeps pouring south behind this initial trough. What I want to know from our southern viewers, when was the last time you saw legitimate snow in your area? Share those memories below. Looking ahead to MLK weekend, January 17th to 18th, the pattern becomes even more favorable for significant winter weather. The models are showing snow breaking out across areas as far south as Alabama and Tennessee, something many of you have been requesting all winter. Northern Georgia and the southern Appalachian Mountains could experience their first significant snowfall of the season during this time frame. For our viewers in Atlanta, Columbia, and Charlotte, while you might see cold rain initially, the pattern continues to trend colder. Here's something incredible. The energy from this system could connect and create a major winter storm for the Middle Atlantic and Appalachian regions. But let me address something important. I know many of you get discouraged when winter weather forecasts don't pan out perfectly. The key is understanding that we're looking at a pattern change, not just a single storm event. Multiple opportunities are developing. For our viewers in southwest Missouri who called this a very hot winter with no snow, this pattern shift could finally change that narrative. Texas viewers reporting temperatures hot as the devil's crotch need to pay attention. Even you could see dramatic temperature drops. The GFS model is showing similar themes, with cold air diving much further south than we've seen this winter season. Energy pieces are lining up across the northern stream, and when they connect, significant winter weather becomes possible for unusual areas. Let me break down what this means for specific regions, starting with the most likely areas for snow accumulation. The North Carolina and Tennessee mountains have the highest probability of significant snow, potentially measuring in inches rather than dustings. Northern Alabama and northern Georgia could see their first winter weather of the season, especially in higher elevation areas. Virginia residents, particularly in the mountains and western regions, should prepare for potential winter weather impacts next week. Here's a question for our community. Are you prepared for winter weather if it arrives in your area? Share your preparation plans below. Kentucky and West Virginia viewers have excellent chances for winter weather as this pattern develops through next week. The timing is crucial. Midweek next week brings the initial push, but the weekend could deliver the most significant impacts. For areas that typically don't see snow, like parts of South Carolina and southern Georgia, even the possibility is noteworthy. School districts across the South should begin monitoring this pattern closely as we approach next Thursday and Friday. The upper-level dynamics driving this pattern are textbook examples of how winter storms develop across the southern United States. A strong trough digs south, cold air masses collide with moisture, and elevation becomes the critical factor for snow versus rain. Now let's examine how this contrasts with current conditions across our viewing area and what the transition will look like. Today's storm system brings flooding rains to the same areas that could see snow next week. That's the power of pattern changes. Huntsville, Alabama, currently under flood risk today, could be dealing with winter weather preparations by next weekend. Charlotte, North Carolina, experiencing showers and thunderstorms today, needs to prepare for a dramatic temperature drop next week. The temperature contrast is staggering, from 75 to 78 degrees in parts of South Carolina today to potential snow by next weekend. Gainesville and North Georgia under thunderstorm risk today could be tracking winter weather forecast within a week. Which areas would you like me to focus on in tomorrow's detailed winter weather breakdown? Drop your request in the comments. The models are showing good agreement about the cold air arrival, though specific snow details will likely change as we get closer. Energy from the Pacific continues to support this developing pattern, suggesting multiple winter weather chances rather than just one event. For our viewers in the mountains of Tennessee and North Carolina, this might be your best snow opportunity of the winter season. Travel impacts could become a concern across the Appalachians and elevated areas if snow accumulation occurs as modeled. The timing looks to favor weekday impacts rather than weekend travel, which could actually be beneficial for many people. Business interests across the South should keep an eye on this developing pattern, though specific impacts remain uncertain. Remember, these are possibilities we're tracking, not certainties, and winter weather forecasting in the South is always challenging. Power companies across the South typically prepare for increased demand when Arctic air masses move through the region. Here's what I want to emphasize. This isn't just about one storm, but a pattern that could persist for multiple weeks. The jet stream configuration supporting this setup could maintain winter weather chances well into late January. For snow lovers across the South, this pattern represents the best opportunity we've seen this winter season. Let me address the current weather situation before we continue with next week's winter weather potential. Today's heavy rain and thunderstorm threat extends from the southeast into the southern Appalachians with flooding concerns. The warm air mass producing today's storms is exactly what will be displaced by next week's Arctic air intrusion. Banner Elk and Boone areas expecting 1 to 3+ inches of rain today need to prepare for a complete weather reversal next week. Nashville's flood watch concerns today transition to winter weather possibilities as the pattern evolves through next week. The contrast between today's 65 to 70 degree temperatures in Alabama and next week's snow potential showcases the dramatic change coming. Bluefield, West Virginia and surrounding mountain areas face steady rain today, but excellent snow chances developing next week. For our viewers tracking both threats, flood safety today and winter weather preparation for next week both require attention. The atmospheric energy driving today's storms will contribute to the dynamic pattern change, bringing winter weather south. Temperature drops of 30 to 40 degrees are possible across much of the South as this pattern transition occurs next week. This represents one of the most significant winter weather setups for the South that we've tracked this entire season. Now let me share some insights about why these southern snow events are so challenging to forecast precisely. Elevation makes all the difference. Areas just 500 feet higher can experience completely different precipitation types. Timing becomes critical because warm ground temperatures can prevent accumulation even when snow is falling. The track of low pressure systems determines whether areas get snow, sleet, freezing rain, or cold rain. For our educational-minded viewers, this setup provides perfect examples of how winter weather develops across the South. Cold air damming effects in the Appalachians can enhance snow potential, while nearby valleys remain too warm. Surface temperature profiles become crucial when determining which areas will see snow versus other precipitation types. Let's discuss the broader implications of this pattern change for the remainder of January and into February. Extended forecasts suggest this cold pattern could establish itself and persist, meaning multiple winter weather opportunities. The polar vortex positioning supports sustained cold air delivery to much lower latitudes than we've seen this winter. For areas that haven't experienced significant winter weather, this pattern represents a potentially historic opportunity. Climate considerations make these southern snow events particularly noteworthy when they do occur. The rarity of snow in many southern areas makes accurate forecasting even more important for public safety. Here's my commitment to our viewers as this exciting pattern develops over the next week. I'll provide daily updates on snow chances, timing, and accumulation potential as model guidance becomes more precise. Tomorrow's forecast will focus specifically on the Thursday-Friday time frame when the first winter weather arrives. Sunday's analysis will examine the MLK weekend storm potential and its implications for widespread snow chances. Make sure you're subscribed with notifications enabled because winter weather forecasts can change rapidly. Share this forecast with friends and family in potentially affected areas because preparation time could be limited. The excitement level for winter weather across the South is building, and this pattern could finally deliver. Let me wrap up with specific preparation recommendations for areas with the highest winter weather potential. Mountain areas of North Carolina, Tennessee, Virginia, and West Virginia should prepare for legitimate snow accumulations. Higher elevation areas in Alabama, Georgia, and Kentucky need to monitor forecasts closely as potential develops. Even areas with lower snow probabilities should prepare for dramatic temperature drops and possible winter precipitation. Stock up on essentials now while stores are fully supplied before any winter weather warnings are issued. Check heating systems and winterization needs because the cold air behind this pattern will be significant. Vehicle preparation becomes important if you live in areas where winter driving conditions are rare. School and business continuity plans should be reviewed as we approach the highest probability timeframes. The pattern we're tracking represents everything winter weather fans across the South have been hoping for this season. From Memphis snow potential to mountain accumulations, next week could rewrite the winter weather story for many areas. As we transition from today's flooding rains to next week's snow chances, the atmospheric power on display is remarkable. Keep sharing your location request and winter weather hopes in the comments. Your engagement helps guide our forecast focus. This Friday morning brings tremendous optimism for winter weather enthusiasts across the southern United States. The pattern evolution from record warmth to snow potential showcases the incredible power of atmospheric dynamics. Thank you for joining me for this exciting winter weather outlook. The pattern we've been waiting for is finally arriving. Stay tuned for daily updates as this remarkable pattern develops, and remember that preparation makes all the difference. From all of us tracking this incredible setup, stay safe, stay informed, and get ready for what could be an unforgettable week. The dots are connecting, the pattern is shifting, and winter weather chances are increasing further south than we've seen all season. Drop your snow predictions and excitement level in the comments below. This could be the southern snow event many of you have been waiting for. I'll see you in tomorrow's update where we dive even deeper into the timing and snow accumulation potential across the South. Until then, keep watching the skies and preparing for what could be a truly historic winter weather pattern across the southern United States. God bless, stay safe, and get ready for what might be the winter weather event of the season across the South.